The U.S. IPO market making a comeback with 3 large public offerings slated for this week. Here with more on that, Yahoo Finance's Jared Blikre. And Jared, it seems like maybe Cava was enough of a catalyst here for these companies.
I'll tell you what, there were so many eyes on that. And I was there at the New York Stock Exchange that morning. I haven't seen that many people on the floor in years. Lots of eyeballs on that. I'm going to go through these in a second. Let me just show you what Cava has done since then and why that IPO, a lot of people were watching it. Now, here is an intraday chart going back to their IPO date. They IPO'd at $22 a share, and they opened nearly double that. And you can see on the first intra-bar of the day that was down, but there was a consolidation pattern, and the net effect is that they are up from that first day IPO price. And a lot of other IPOs in the past that were bellwethers that sunk, well, you can imagine that would have been a negative sign for the market. But let's get back to what's happening this week. And we're looking for a few of these. There you go. Kodiak Gas Services is one. They're looking to raise up to $352 million in their IPO. Oil and gas services, mainly gas. So interesting to see that coming as we have energy in play today. Savers Value Village, I believe they are the largest thrift store operator in the U.S. At least that's private. $318 million they're looking to raise right now. And I believe the IPO range is right around $20 a share. And then Fidelis Care, they're looking to raise up to $323 million. They do insurance and reinsurance. So bottom line is there's no high-flying tech stories here today, and nothing like I would say Cava, but I think we're going to see a lot of people on the floor and also at the NASDAQ for these listings that we see this week. And I just want to show you where we're coming from. There has been an absolute dearth of IPOs going back to the beginning of last year. This chart goes back to January of 2020. So you can see there was a dearth over the pandemic in the beginning stages, but we really found a stride there in the first quarter of 2021. By the way, that was when GameStop was erupting. So to see all this inactivity and finally get some signs of life, there's a lot of money that wants to come public that are looking for those investors looking for that liquidity event. So here are a number of the mega cap unicorn IPOs that we're still expecting. So we have Instacart. We know what Instacart is. ARM is a chip company. Reddit, of course. Stripe, the financial services company. Panera Bread looking to go public once again. SpaceX didn't even have room for Starlink. That's in there too. Steinway Pianos. So the bottom line is there's a lot that we can expect from the IPO market, assuming the markets stay amenable this year. That's a big if, perhaps.
That is a big if, but a lot of big names there if they do potentially come to market. All right, we're just a few days away from that halfway mark for the year. The NASDAQ is up roughly 30%. We've got the Dow up only 2%. What's the expectation going into the second half of the year?
Well, I was looking at some of the best performing first halves of the year going back to the beginning of the NASDAQ in the early 1970s. We are at number 3 right now. But what happened with the first 2 biggest dates, and that was 1975 and 1983, we had big down movements for the second half of the year. Now, Bespoke, I was just reading a study by Bespoke that looked at something similar. If you were to filter out those days or those years where you don't have a lot of activity, you don't have a lot of upside activity. In other words, the percentage of up days in the market is not that great. You actually have higher chances of a robust second half of the year. And so that's what they're seeing there. I was also taking a look at the disparity between the NASDAQ and the Dow performance, almost 30% for the NASDAQ versus 2% for the Dow. I'm cooking up some statistics, so I'm going to be writing that up for tomorrow morning. Be sure to check that on yahoofinance.com. But so far, it's not fait accompli that a good first half of the year, especially a gangbuster first half of the year, necessarily leads to second half strength here.
All right, we will wait and see. It'll come soon enough. All right, Jared Blikre, great stuff. Thanks.